And the last comment on this topic, I'd like to call on Mr. Carl Shipley.
Why are you asking me to donate? Because the track and field facility Cascade is 50 years old and in need of an upgrade. Didn't the board already approve funding for it? Only the track. Why do you need a new field? Because it's 50 years old and rendered unusable much of the year because of its constant wear and drainage issues. Why didn't the district decide to pay for the new field? Because Gary Cohn didn't feel it was a priority. Maybe he and the board didn't realize the field needed upgrading. No, they knew. I had private discussions with Gary and Ed Peterson. I presented the case at 4 different board meetings, and I sent a number of emails to both the board and superintendent. I have the transcripts and emails if you'd like to read them. What has been their stance on the field? The district will not pay for it, but it did say that if the Bruin community parents could raise the money from the public by this time next year, they'd accept our donation and build the field. How much do you need to raise? $1.5 million. What's that big area they're clearing over by the stadium? That's the new administration building. Who's paying for that? The district. How much will that cost? $27 million in county. Did we vote for that? No. Is the cost capped? No. The board just approved additional funding for it. How much did they approve? Between $800,000 and $3.1 million, depending on who you ask. They just approved additional funding for their administration building, but refused to pay for a field for students at Cascade? Yes. So what happens if you raise the money by December 2012? Construction on the field will happen in summer of 2013. What happens if you don't raise the money by then? Cascade doesn't get a field upgrade. Are there any other options? There have been vague suggestions that verbiage might be added to the next bond to pay for the field. There's another bond measure coming up. When does that hit? Yes, both bond and levies will be on the ballot in the next few years. So they're spending over $27 million on a new administration building used by a few hundred administrators that was not approved by the voters, but they refused to replace a 50-year-old field used by tens of thousands of students, community members, and organizations year-round. And after all that, they're going to ask us to approve both bond and levy? Yes. Seems like the Everett School District's been in the news a lot lately for all the wrong reasons. This seems like it'd be a great opportunity to help their image. Conversations like this have started occurring in soccer, football, and lacrosse clubs, in running clubs and book clubs, in parent groups and church groups, on Facebook, blogs, guest commentaries, and letters in print. This is our story, and only you have the power to change it. We who are tasked with raising $1.5 million from the public are the same people who volunteer to make phone calls and to support your bonds and levies. We are parents, students, community leaders, neighbors. You may save $1.5 million now, but what will it cost the district in the long term? The question you should ask yourselves is, will you have any political capital left to burn come bond and levy vote time?
Mr. Shipley, thank you for addressing the board. In the future, I would say, as chair, you are very close to being out of order in terms of attributing motive for that, and would, when you speak to the board again, to take that into consideration.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Mr. Shipley.
Since you've addressed me, perhaps you'll allow her.
No, you've already addressed the board. Thank you.
No, but
Thank you for
I
your
would
time.
be allowed a response to yours, so that I can better address the board. Tell me where I've been out of line or where I'm bordering, please.
Attributing motive in terms of not caring about kids. That's what we heard.
Did I say anywhere that you didn't care about kids? You want to read it?
We're not going to get into it.
Oh, we are. You just got us into it.
Mr. Shipley. Thank you for being here and sharing your concerns for us, and we will take them up shortly.
That's great. Okay.
This board often attributes motive.
Point of order.
Point of order.
You have to get back on the order.
You're calling for the agenda. Thank you.
I would agree with Director was saying that the comments to me did sort of derail the conversation because we're not supposed to be doing this. So I appreciate if we could get back on order as well. We have a lot of kids here.
The last speaker is